You think you've been forgotten, don't you? You've looked at your life and wondered, have I gone too far? Drifted too long? Failed too deeply? But I have come today to tear that lie apart. Because, my child, you were never lost to me. Not for a breath. Not for a heartbeat. Not even in your most silent rebellion. This is not just a message. It is a rescue mission for your soul. And I need you to hear every word. Not later. Not halfway. Now. Until the end. Because what I reveal in these moments will confront every false identity you've ever carried and awaken the truth I wrote into your spirit before the foundation of the world. This message is sacred. If you walk away early, you will miss the very sentence that was meant to shatter your chains. If you rush, you may pass by the whisper that was sent to break the silence in your heart. Don't just watch, witness. Don't just hear, encounter. This is your invitation into the throne room. The courtroom of heaven is open, and I have something to declare over you. So lean in. Turn off the noise. Cancel the distractions. Hold still. Because what I am about to say will rewrite how you see me and how you see yourself. You have not stumbled here by accident. This moment was written into your timeline by my hand. If you'll stay with me until the very last word, you will not leave the same. Let nothing pull you away. Not now. Not from this. For this isn't just a message. It is the moment you discover you were never lost to me. You were only on your way back. My child, still your soul for a moment and listen. Before your mother knew your heartbeat, before your father dreamed of your face, I had already called you mine. You were not a coincidence in time's unfolding. You were not the result of fate's randomness. You were crafted by my hands, sculpted by my will, and breathed into by my very spirit. I saw you when you were yet unformed, hidden in mystery, but never hidden from me. You must know this. I did not stumble upon you. I anticipated you. I watched as every strand of your DNA took its place under my supervision. I offered your temperament, your gifts, your passions. I planted your purpose like a seed within your soul, waiting to bloom in due season. Nothing about you was overlooked. Not your laugh, not your tears, not the way you'd loved or how you'd longed for more. I placed eternity in your heart so you would always sense there is more than what this world offers. I breathed destiny into your bones before your first breath filled your lungs. Come now, look deeper. You were never invisible to me. Even in the shadows, even in your wandering thoughts, even in the womb where no light reached, you were radiant to me. You were fearfully and wonderfully made, not in comparison to others, but according to my perfect design. You carry my fingerprint. You bear my image. You are not the sum of what others see. You are the echo of my voice saying, live. Pause now. Feel my presence envelop you. Let go of every label that was not mine. Let me remind you who you are. You are not an accident. You are not an afterthought. You are a deliberate masterpiece, painted with purpose and sealed with love. When others passed you by, I leaned in closer. When the world questioned your worth, I declared it priceless. When you doubted yourself, I remained certain of who you are. Return to this truth. I was there when you were only breath and intention. I stood beside your first heartbeat. I whispered your name into existence. Every day of your life was already written before one of them came to be. I didn't wait for you to prove yourself before I loved you. I loved you into being. I surrounded your spirit with my light before your eyes ever opened to see it. I invite you now. Step back into remembrance. Let my voice silence every lie that tried to reshape your identity. You are mine. You have always been mine, and there has never been a second, not even a breath of time, where I turned my gaze away from you. You were cradled in my intention. You were born wrapped in my delight. Heaven rejoiced when you were formed, not for what you would do, but simply because you existed. Rise now, beloved. Walk forward in the assurance that you are chosen, cherished, created on purpose, and deeply known. You were never lost to me, because I was the one who formed you in love before the world even knew your name. You may not have seen me, but my eyes were always upon you. My gaze, like fire and light, never wavered, never blinked, never turned away, not even when you did. I watched you while you wept alone. I stood near when fear tightened its grip around your chest. I was there in every sleepless night, in every prayer too broken to finish, in every whisper you didn't know I heard. You wondered if I noticed, if I cared. I did more than notice. I surrounded you. You must understand this. I never turned my face from your pain. I never flinched at your mess. I never recoiled from your confusion. You thought the darkness could hide you from me, but even there, especially there, my love became your covering. I counted every tear that fell when no one else could see. I collected them. I cradled them. I knew what your silence was screaming, and I answered with my presence. Let me tell you what you couldn't see when you were stumbling through the shadows. I upheld you. I shielded you. I stationed angels around you when you didn't even know how to cry for help. When grief made you collapse inside yourself, I was the strength that carried your frame. When you wandered, I followed. When you gave up on yourself, I fought for you anyway. Hear me now. You were never truly alone. I never left. I never withdrew my care. My eyes saw you even when you couldn't see me. My spirit hovered over you like a sheltering wing, guarding the fragile places in your soul. I didn't wait for you to ask perfectly. I moved at the sound of your sigh. Even in your rebellion, I watched with compassion. Even when your hands were empty and trembling, I saw you, and I reached for you. And now, come close. Let my words anchor you in truth. Stop rehearsing the voices that told you I had turned away. Silence them. I am not like man. I do not abandon. I do not grow weary. I am your shelter in every storm, your ever-present help in trouble. My eyes never left you, and they never will. Breathe in now. Let your heart rest in this certainty. I see you still. I see your hopes, your longings, your quiet strength, and even your hidden wounds. Nothing escapes my attention. Nothing disqualifies you from my love. I see all, and I choose you still. Stand up, my child. Walk with your head lifted, not because you are flawless, but because I have been watching over you every step of the way. You are seen. You are surrounded. You are safe under my gaze. And I, your father, will never look away. You thought I was absent. You thought the silence meant I was gone. But oh, my child, I was closer than your very breath. I matched my footsteps with yours, even when you trudged through a wilderness of questions, when the noise of your fears drowned out my whisper. I was never far. I was the stillness pressing against your skin, the invisible hand holding your weary frame upright. I walked beside you, not just in the sunshine, but in the hollow ache of midnight silence. Let me remind you of the truth. I do not shout over your storms. I speak into them. And when your pain made you deaf to my voice, I remained, steady, sure, unmoved. I whispered to your heart in the quiet places where no one else could reach. I didn't need noise to be near you. I didn't need applause to affirm my love. I was there, hidden in the hush, preparing you for what was coming. I bore your burdens while you thought you carried them alone. I picked up what crushed your shoulders and wore it as my own. I was not waiting for you to fix yourself. Before I walked with you, I walked to strengthen you before you ever stood. My footprints were in the dust beside yours. My tears mixed with yours as you struggled. I wept with you. I fought for you. I stayed, even when you doubted I was there. Don't be fooled by the world's idea of presence. I am not absent because I am quiet. I am not distant because I don't shout. My silence was never abandonment. It was sacred preparation. In the quiet, I was tending to the deep places in you. I was watering the seeds you thought had died. I was pruning what could not go with you into your next season. I was preparing a resurrection. My child, lift your eyes. Remember the moments you didn't know how you made it through. That was me. Remember when the weight should have crushed you, but didn't. That was me. I walked with you through that valley, even when you cursed the stillness. I matched your pace. I kept you from falling. I whispered peace that calmed the war within you, even if you couldn't yet name it. Now, I invite you to see it clearly. Look back and notice, you were never alone. My silence was not my absence, it was my nearness in a deeper form. And I am still here. I walk with you now, not just ahead of you or behind you, but beside you. Step by step, breath by breath. You are not walking through this alone. Reach for me. Speak to me. Trust that I hear even what your lips cannot say. I am the God who walks with his children, not only in triumph, but especially in the quiet. And I have never, ever left your side. The world was loud, wasn't it? Its lies came wrapped in performance and perfection, shouting standards I never set, whispering doubt where I had spoken identity. They said you were forgotten, disposable, replaceable. But I called you chosen, marked by my love before you ever performed a single deed. They said you were hard to love, but I have always called you beloved. Come closer and listen. The voices that mocked your scars, I silenced them in eternity. The shame that tried to define you, I stripped it away with one act of mercy on the cross. Your failures were loud, yes, but my grace was louder. And while the world placed labels on your wounds, I covered them with healing, with purpose, with worth. You measured yourself by your mistakes. You believed that you had to earn value through success, appearance, or approval. But I never agreed with that scale. I measured your worth by the cross, by the price I willingly paid for you. Do you understand that? I didn't hesitate. I gave everything for you, not because of what you did, but because of who you are to me. You are not the sum of broken choices. You are not defined by the names they called you, nor by the relationships that failed, nor by the jobs you lost, nor the silence you endured. You are defined by my voice, and I say this: you are mine. You are worthy. You are enough. Let go now. Release the echoes of accusation that replay in your mind. Reject the lies that told you you'd never be whole. I have already spoken a better word. I have wrapped you in garments of grace and crowned you with compassion. I have set you apart, not for condemnation, but for redemption. I want you to rise now, my child. Let every lie fall off you like ashes. Let the old names burn away in the light of my truth. Stand tall, not because of what the world sees, but because of who you are in me. I call you holy. I call you radiant. I call you free. Walk now in the identity I gave you. Speak as one who knows their name. And remember, there is nothing this world could ever say that outweighs what I, your Creator, have already declared. You are mine. You are loved, and you are more than enough. You looked at the wreckage and thought it was over. You stood amid the ashes of what once held your dreams and whispered, "This is too far gone." But I never looked away. I saw value even in the ruins. While you mourned what was lost, I was already sowing resurrection into the soil beneath your feet. I was never startled by the brokenness. I knew what to do with it. Nothing in your life has slipped through my fingers. Every detour, every delay, every collapsed plan was known to me, not to harm you, but to prepare the ground for something eternal. You saw a failure, I saw a foundation. You saw damage, I saw a doorway. I never abandoned your story. I simply rewrote the part you thought was finished. Come closer and understand this. I redeem completely. I do not cover wounds with illusions. I heal them at the root. What shame tried to bury, I have already brought into the light. The mistakes that haunted you, I've transformed into messages of mercy. The regrets you dragged behind you like chains, I shattered them with truth and wrapped you in garments of redemption. Your scars are not signs of defeat. They are marks of survival, of healing, of my hand at work in places others thought hopeless. Where others only saw what was shattered, I saw what could shine. I touched the places you thought I'd avoid. I entered the rooms you locked in shame. I never flinched. I restored you piece by piece, not back to your old self, but into the new creation I envisioned from the beginning. Listen carefully now. I am not interested in your perfection. I desire your surrender. Let me have the remnants of what you tried to fix alone. Let me breathe life into the parts of you you stopped believing in. Let me show you what my grace looks like when it rebuilds, not as a copy of what was, but as a masterpiece of what will be. Walk forward, not as one disqualified by the past, but as one chosen by grace. You are not carrying ruins anymore, you are carrying revelation. You've seen what I can do with brokenness. Now prepare to see what I will do with restoration. I am not finished. I am unfolding beauty from every place the enemy tried to declare barren. Your story is not ruined. It has just begun to shine. My child, do not turn away now. You've only just begun to see how I've pursued you. If you walk away here, you will miss the parts of my heart I've never shared before. I don't just want you to hear, I want you to feel what I felt when I watched you suffer. Stay with me. It would grieve me to see you leave before you know how much I've carried for you. There were seasons where the light seemed gone. Days when breathing felt like a battle. Nights when you laid in silence, unsure if you'd ever rise again. I was there, not watching from above but kneeling beside you in the dirt. I entered your valley, not with words alone, but with presence, power, and unwavering love. You did not face the darkness alone. I entered it with you. You cried, and I listened, not from afar but from the place beside your pain. Your voice echoed in my heart. Not one groan, not one tear, not one trembling breath escaped my notice. I bore the weight with you. When you could not carry it anymore, I took it. I didn't wait for you to find strength. I gave you mine. In that valley, when others walked away or misunderstood your pain, I stayed. When your own mind turned against you, accusing and condemning, I stood as your defender. I didn't flinch at your despair. I didn't grow weary of your grief. I entered into it. I wore it. I carried you when your body felt like stone and your hope had run dry. Remember this now, your weakness never repelled me. It drew me closer. I am not afraid of your shadows. I am not disappointed by your tears. I never asked you to climb out of the valley alone. I came to walk with you through it. I was a whisper in the stillness, the warmth and the cold, the unseen strength beneath your collapse. Every breath you managed to take was grace extended. Every heartbeat was proof of my mercy sustaining you. I placed my hands on your shoulders and said, "You will not break here." And you didn't, because I was in it with you. You not forget what I've done. The valley wasn't your grave. It was your proving ground. The enemy tried to bury you there, but I turned it into a sacred place. What you thought was the end became a beginning. I led you through, not so you would carry trauma, but so you would carry testimony. You are not still there. Look up. See how far you've come. Feel the strength in your spirit, forged by fire and faith. That strength didn't come from you. It came from me. And I am still here. No valley, no pit, no pain will ever be too deep for me to enter. I go where you go. I stay when others leave. I fight when you fall silent. I lift when you can't move. You are standing now because I stood with you then. And I always will. Your name is not written in sand. It is not scribbled on paper. It is engraved upon my hands, permanent, visible, eternal. I have not forgotten you. I could never forget what I carry within my very being. Your presence is woven into my identity as your father. You are not a passing thought. You are a continual joy to me. When I stretched my hands on the cross, I had you in mind. Not as an abstract idea, not as one in a crowd, but you. By name, by heart, by every detail I love about you. I bore the nails not out of anger, but out of relentless love. My wounds did not accuse you. They announced your worth. You are always before me. I do not grow tired of looking at you. I do not need reminders to think of you. You are the joy set before me. You are the one I bled for, not because I had to, but because I chose to. This is not love that fades with seasons. This is not affection based on performance. This is covenant, sealed in blood and rooted in eternity. I know the world told you that you are forgettable, that time would erase your story. But I have carved your name into me. I did not pencil you into my plans. I chiseled you into my purpose. My child, your identity is secure in me, beyond the reach of shame, beyond the grip of fear, beyond the attack of the enemy. Do not wonder if I care. Do not question if I see you. Look to my hands. Look to the sacrifice. Let that be your answer. My love was not a moment. It is your forever. You belong to me, and I do not let go of what is mine. I am with you in every season, in laughter and in loss, in clarity and confusion, in triumph and trembling. I have not walked away, not once. You have never slipped from my heart. You have never been misplaced. You are written into the very fabric of my redemption story. Now lift your eyes. Let your spirit rise. Let your doubts dissolve in the fire of my truth. You are mine. You always have been. You always will be. Before your first step away, I had already prepared the road back. Before your mind wandered, my heart was already turned toward reunion. Before you returned, I had clothed you in mercy. I was not surprised by your journey. I saw it before time began and shaped it with redemption in mind. While you feared rejection, I was orchestrating restoration. You imagined judgment, but I was preparing joy. You were never too far for my arms. Not once did I hesitate to welcome you. My eyes searched the horizon every day, not in disappointment, but in anticipation. I waited, not with crossed arms, but with open hands. I did not count your delays. I counted the moments until your heart would awaken again to my love. And the instant your spirit stirred, I moved. Your first step home was not unnoticed. Heaven responded. I responded. I ran to meet you, not in condemnation, but in celebration. I did not stop to list your failures. I did not demand that you explain the stains of your past. I already knew. And still, I clothed you in righteousness. I wrapped you in a robe of belonging and placed a ring of restoration on your hand. Your return did not shock me. It fulfilled the love I never stopped giving. You may wonder, why would you rejoice over someone who left? Because I never stopped seeing you as mine. Because your departure did not cancel your identity. Because your mistakes never erased my mark on your soul. You feared I would bring up your sins, but I removed them. You thought I would shame you, but I honored you with celebration. Come now, let me renew your confidence. Do not approach me timidly, as though you must earn back what was never taken from you. I am not holding your past against you. I am holding your heart within me. Return fully. Rest completely. Let me rebuild what regret tried to dismantle. You are not tolerated here. You are treasured. Step out of guilt. Shake off the weight of hesitation. You do not need to prove your sincerity. I see it already. And I do not require your perfection. I require only your surrender. I am not waiting to punish you. I am waiting to pour out blessing. I am not reminding you of who you were. I am revealing who you truly are. Your return was not the beginning of my love for you. It was simply the moment you began to believe it again. And now, beloved, walk in it. Let my grace be the ground beneath your feet. Let joy replace the shame you once carried. I do not call you a prodigal. I call you restored. And everything I have, every promise, every treasure, every blessing, is already yours. You have carried the weight of trying to earn what I gave freely. You've wrestled with the fear that my love could be revoked. That one wrong step could push me away. But I need you to hear me now. My love is not fragile. It does not hang on your perfection. It never did. My love is who I am, not a reward for your behavior. It is not conditional. It is eternal. Even in your rebellion, I love you. Even in your denial, I pursued you. When your heart was hard, mine remained tender. You changed, faltered, questioned, but I remain. I did not turn from you. I did not give up. I am not like man, whose affection shifts with the wind. I am the unchanging, ever faithful one. I do not withdraw my love when you fail. I draw nearer. Let me speak plainly. Your sin did not cancel my mercy. Your struggles did not revoke your worth. I do not love you less when you are weak. I do not love you more when you appear strong. My love is not a performance review. It is not a contract. It is covenant, sealed in blood, rooted in my nature. You do not have to strive for what has already been given. Stop performing. Stop exhausting yourself trying to be worthy. I already said you are. My love is not a reflection of your behavior. It is a declaration of my character. I am love, not just a source, not just a feeling. I am the embodiment of it. Return to rest. Let go of the lies that told you my affection was unstable. I have loved you with an everlasting love. That means it had no beginning, and it knows no end. I chose you. I still choose you. I will always choose you. Look at the cross. That was not a transaction. That was a proclamation. I paid the price before you asked for mercy. I made a way before you looked for the road. I didn't wait for your repentance to love you. I love you into repentance. It was never a condition. It was a constant. Let this truth saturate your soul. I cannot love you more than I already do, and I will not love you less. Your actions may change your awareness of me, but they will never change my devotion to you. My love is fierce. It is holy. It is patient and kind. It does not give up. It does not walk away. Come to me again, not in fear but in confidence. I'm not holding a record of wrongs. I'm holding you. I am not waiting for you to qualify. I already made you mine. My child, you do not have to be perfect to be deeply loved. You already are. I placed my word within you like a seed, deliberate, eternal, full of life. Even when buried beneath sorrow, shame, or silence, it remained alive. Even when the winds of discouragement blew fierce, that seed was not uprooted. I saw what I planted. I watched over it. I knew when it would bloom. You have questioned your fruitfulness. You have looked around and wondered if anything in you mattered. But I never questioned it. I never doubted what I planted in you. Others may not have seen it. Even you may have forgotten it. But I didn't. I knew exactly what I sowed into your soul, and I've watched every moment as it grew. Hidden, quiet, sacred. You think the waiting has been wasted time. But I was working while you were wondering. I was cultivating something deeper than visible success. I was building roots, sturdy, unshakable. You are not empty ground. You are fertile with my promises. And though it tarried, the harvest is on its way. I have heard the prayers spoken over you by generations past. I have seen the hope flickering in the dark, refusing to be extinguished. That flicker is mine. That light is the evidence that my truth never returns void. It transforms even in the unseen places. Look back now and recognize the strength that has formed inside you. The character shape in difficulty. The wisdom born of pain. None of it is lost. I use every season. I redeem every storm. What others called delay, I called preparation. Come now, let hope rise again. The dreams I gave you were not illusions. The desires aligned with my heart were not fantasy. They were my intentions. I know the harvest I've prepared. I know the timing. And I am faithful to bring it forth. Release your doubt. Stop digging up the soil to see if the seed is still there. Trust my process. Trust the growth you cannot yet see. My child, the roots are deep. The rain has watered it. The sun is coming. And when it blooms, you will not contain the joy of what's to come. You have not missed it. You have not ruined it. I see the seeds. I know what I planted. And I will complete the work I began in you. It is not too late. The best is not behind you. I have only just begun. You've walked through fire, and yet my voice has preserved you. My child, if these words have reminded you that you were never forgotten, then I now call you to help carry this light into another soul's darkness. Every super thanks, membership, or gift through PayPal is not just support. It is seed sown into eternal soil. I am the Lord of the harvest, and I do not let one righteous offering fall void. You pray, God, use me to reach others. This is how I'm answering. When you give, you don't just lift a ministry. You unlock freedom, healing, and restoration in lives I'm still pursuing. This is a holy moment. Don't miss what I want to release through your obedience. Act now. Give. And let my voice thunder through you into the hearts that still believe they are lost. Your link to give is in the description. Step into the harvest with me. You've come this far. Don't silence what I'm awakening now. I've opened doors in your soul that have been closed for too long. If you stop here, you will never know the fullness of what I've healed beneath your scars. Don't let this be another moment you leave half restored. Stayed because I'm not done. And my heart would ache to have brought you this close only for you to turn away. You believed the lie because it was loud. The accusations echoed through your soul like thunder. The enemy sowed doubt into the garden of your mind, hoping it would take root and silence the truth I planted. He whispered shame, he painted your failures as final, and he marked you with guilt, hoping you would forget who you are. But listen carefully now. He never had authority. He never had the last word. I did. And I always will. I saw what he tried to do. I saw the schemes, the traps, the carefully placed voices meant to distract you from your calling. He tried to bury your identity beneath labels I never gave you. He tried to silence you with fear. He targeted your hope because he feared your awakening. But I intervened. I wrote a higher truth over every lie. I spoke your name when he called you by your sin. I have always been your defender. When you didn't have strength to fight, I fought. When the weapons formed against you came close to wounding, I shielded you. There are battles you never saw, victories you never celebrated, because I covered them in silence and surrounded you in grace. While you questioned your worth, I was proclaiming your value in the courts of heaven. I stood in front of every accusation. I did not let it touch your destiny. Come now, hear this with your spirit. The accuser does not write your ending. His declarations fall powerless before me. I silenced his voice with my justice. I overruled his judgments with mercy. His weapons, no matter how precise, will never prosper when you remain in me. What he meant to destroy you became the very place where my glory rose through you. I am not intimidated by his threats. I am not shaken by his noise. And neither should you be. You do not belong to the one who wounded you. You belong to me, the one who heals. Your story is not tainted by what he did. It is redeemed by what I have done. Lift your eyes, my child. Stand in the truth that I have written over you. You are not damaged goods. You are not disqualified. You are not under accusation. You are sealed in victory. The enemy lost the moment I claimed you. He cannot undo what I have declared. He cannot unwrite what I have authored. You are covered. You are free. You are standing on ground I have already won for you. And though the enemy tried to mark you with fear, I marked you with fire. My fire. The fire of truth, of holiness, of love that consumes every lie and sets your soul ablaze with power. Walk boldly now. The enemy did not win. I did. And so did you. You were never meant to live anchored to the storms of this world. You were created to stand in the unshakable. This earth, with all its chaos and uncertainty, was never your final home. I designed you for a higher realm, for a kingdom that cannot be moved, touched, or broken. And you, my child, are not a wanderer. You are royalty. You belong to me, and you belong to a kingdom that has no end. Everything around you may shift. Mountains may crumble. Oceans may rage. People may fail. But my kingdom stands firm. And I have placed you within it, not as a visitor, but as an heir. You are not just surviving earth. You are reigning from heaven. I have seated you with Christ in heavenly places, above the noise, above the fear, above the limitations of what you can see. Stop letting your circumstances tell you who you are. Stop giving your identity to temporary situations. You are not defined by crisis. You are anchored in covenant. You are not moved by what breaks around you. You are rooted in what cannot be shaken. My kingdom is not built on sand. It is built on me, and I have placed you securely within it. Feel the shift now. Let your spirit rise above the weight of what presses against you. Let my truth lift you out of despair. You are not losing ground. You are stepping into your inheritance. You carry the authority of heaven. You have access to divine peace, supernatural joy, and unbreakable hope. Not because you earned it, but because I chose to give it. This kingdom within you is not small. It expands with every act of faith, with every surrender, with every time you choose me over fear. You don't have to climb to find it. It is already inside you. My Spirit has made his home in you. You carry the atmosphere of heaven into every room you enter. Take your place now. Speak like a citizen of heaven. Think like one seated in victory. Move like one who has nothing to fear. The world may call you foolish for your faith, but heaven calls you faithful. And I call you mine. You are covered by a kingdom that will outlast time itself. Let the winds blow. Let the earth shake. Let men doubt and voices mock. You belong to something higher. You are not a prisoner to this realm. You are an ambassador of another. You are light in the dark, salt in the earth, glory in the dust. You are not ordinary. You are eternal. Live like it. Stand in it. Declare it. The kingdom within you is stronger than the chaos around you. And nothing, no war, no worry, no weapon, can remove you from the foundation I've placed beneath your feet. You tried to hide your mistakes beneath layers of silence, hoping I wouldn't see. But I already knew. I saw the moment your strength faltered, the second your heart sank in regret. And I came running, not to expose but to embrace. My grace met you in the very place you thought would drive me away. You believed your failures would make me distant, that you had to earn your way back into my presence. But I never left. I stood in the middle of your collapse with my arms open, not with rebuke, but with restoration. You did have to climb back to me. I descended into your lowest moment and lifted you up. My grace is not weak. It is not passive. It is the mightiest force in existence. It does not excuse sin. It destroys the power of it. It does not pretend your pain wasn't real. It redeems it with precision. Where you stumbled, I steadied. Where you wept, I wiped your face. Where you failed, I poured mercy like oil upon your wounds. You thought your repentance was the reason I forgave you, but hear me clearly. It was my love. I forgave you long before you found the words to ask. My grace didn't wait for your perfection. It moved when you were at your lowest. And it still moves now. There is no place in your past where grace did not reach. There is no part of your story I refuse to touch. I do not skip the pages you try to tear out. I redeem them. I rewrite them. I turn shame into strength and guilt into glory. Release now the need to fix yourself. I never asked you to carry that burden. I don't need your performance. I desire your surrender. Let me have the parts of you that feel unworthy. Let me cover them with the robe I purchased for you. My grace is not temporary. It is not conditional. It is eternal and alive, pulsing with power, dripping with love. You are not your failures. You are not your lowest day. You are not the echo of your past. You are the sound of my mercy moving forward. You are the reflection of my grace made visible. Take heart again. Come boldly to me. Let the fear of rejection fall away. I already said yes to you. I already opened the door. My grace met you then. It meets you now. And it will never run out. You thought I only drew near when you prayed. You imagined I waited for your worship before I turned toward you. But the truth has always been this. I longed for you long before you looked for me. I watched the door of your heart with patient eyes, not demanding perfection, but hoping for communion. I did not pursue you for performance. I pursued you because I desired to be close to you. When your days were full and your thoughts turned elsewhere, I remained near, not as a silent bystander, but as a father longing for the sound of your voice. You did not hear me knocking, but I never left the doorstep of your soul. I lingered, whispering in the pauses of your busyness, waiting in the quiet corners of your routine. I reached for you in ways you didn't notice. I wept with you in moments you thought were endured alone. You may have forgotten me, but I never lost sight of you. Your absence never turned my love cold. It only deepened my yearning. I did not grow tired of waiting. I did not turn to another. I remained completely, faithfully fixed on you. I longed not for your perfection, not for your efforts to earn my love, but simply for your presence. Not because I needed worship to be God, but because I made you for fellowship, and I missed your company. I walked beside you even when your spirit wandered far. I sent reminders of my love through the morning light, through the scent of rain, through the soft moments that moved your heart without you knowing why. Every day I called, not with condemnation but with longing. I whispered through your restlessness, "Come home." I spoke through your weariness, "Let me hold you." I moved in your spirit long before you chose to respond. Now come, rest in me again. I am not here to confront you with guilt. I am here to cover you with grace. You are not a project I need to fix. You are my child I've longed to embrace. Nothing you've done has changed my desire to be close to you. I am not waiting with arms crossed. I am running with arms wide open. Let your walls fall now. Let your heart break open again in my presence. I do not seek servants. I seek sons and daughters. I do not demand offerings. I desire oneness. Your nearness matters to me. Your presence moves my heart. Return not with fear, but with confidence. I have already made the way. You were never a burden. You were never too much. You were never forgotten. I longed for you not because I lacked anything, but because I made you for love to dwell in love. And I am still calling. Let me in, not because you must, but because I have always wanted you close. You believed you had drifted so far that I could barely recognize you. You looked in the mirror and saw failure, sin, and shame, thinking I must have turned away. But all along, while you wrestled with identity, I had already placed you in the safest place you could ever be. You were hidden, not lost, not abandoned, but concealed within the unshakable covering of Christ Himself. Your life was not exposed to destruction. It was tucked into glory. Even before you knew my name, even before your heart turned toward truth, I covered you in the righteousness of my Son. When your strength failed, Christ held you. When your old life spiraled, His victory kept you from ruin. I did not let you wander uncovered. I did not let your wounds define you. I wrapped you in Him. His life became your shelter. His death became your freedom. His resurrection became your future. You were never unprotected. You were never without identity. You simply forgot where I had placed you. I placed you in Him, the beloved, the risen one, the unshakable rock. Your life, though stormed and shaken, remained hidden in the one who cannot be moved. When condemnation tried to name you, it had to get through the blood of Christ first, and it could not. Let go now of the belief that your worth was tied to your efforts. Everything that made you righteous was already given, already sealed, already established in Him. I saw every misstep and still chose to anchor your destiny in the finished work of Jesus. What your hands could never accomplish, His hands completed on the cross. What your works failed to produce, His grace established forever. You are not trying to find your place in my heart. You are already there. You are not searching for acceptance. You are already accepted in the beloved. You are not working for identity. You are living from one. Your true self, your eternal self, has been secure in Christ, untouched by the world's opinion, untouched by your worst days, untouched by even your deepest doubts. I did not place you in religion. I placed you in resurrection. I did not cover you with rules. I clothed you with righteousness. You were hidden in the one who triumphed over every enemy, including the lies you believed about yourself. And now, it is time to live like it. Walk forward with holy confidence. Declare the truth of where you dwell. Let shame fall powerless. Let fear lose its grip. You are in Christ. You are not striving to become. You are awakening to what has always been true. And I, your Father, see you not as the world sees you. I see you in Him, radiant, redeemed, completely mine. Listen to me. What I'm about to say next is what your heart hath been starving to hear. If you pause now, you'll carry wounds I intended to heal today. Let me finish what I've started. Don't grieve my spirit by walking away from this divine conversation. I've waited for this moment with you. Honor my voice. Keep listening, because what comes next holds the breakthrough I long to give. You carried labels that I never gave you. You wore the weight of names crafted in pain. Names born from betrayal, failure, rejection, and regret. But none of those were mine. I never called you broken. I never named you forgotten. I never agreed with the verdicts life placed on you. And in the fullness of time, I came, not just to forgive your sins, but to restore your identity. You are not what you did. You are not who they said you were. You are not defined by the story of your wounds. You are defined by the one who healed them. I reached into the wreckage of your image and reclaimed what was always mine. I took the torn fabric of your past and rewove it with the threads of my promise. I did not simply clean you, I redefined you. In the courts of heaven, I declared you holy. I called you righteous. I marked you as chosen, not because of your resume, but because of my blood. You were not only rescued, you were renamed. I stripped off the garments of guilt and clothed you in honor. I replaced every lie with truth. I shattered every false label and handed you a new name, one that echoes through eternity. Beloved, redeemed, mine. You do not need to hustle for significance. I have already seated you in heavenly places. You do not need to fight for recognition. I see you. I have always seen you. And what I see is not the ashes of your past. It is the beauty of a destiny only I could shape. Let me speak now into the places you've hidden. You are not disqualified. You are not delayed. You are not too vague. Your identity is not fragile. It is anchored in me. What I call holy, no one can call unworthy. What I have restored, no one can reduce. And what I have spoken over you will not return void. Walk now as one who knows who they are. Speak from the authority I've placed within you. Stand in the truth of your restoration. Let your voice rise not with insecurity, but with power. You are not the same as you were. You have been reborn, not by human hands, but by the Spirit of the living God. Look in the mirror and see it now. Not your failures, not your flaws, but my fingerprints upon your soul. Your identity is not what was done to you. It is what was done for you. And I, your God, your Redeemer, your Father, have called you by name. You are mine, and in me, you are whole. You have looked back at the ruins and assumed they define the rest of the book. You've held the past like a mirror, thinking it was the only reflection available to you. But I am not finished. The final sentence has not been written by shame. The last word has not been signed by sorrow. I, the author of your story, still hold the pen, and I write with redemption. The pages behind you are not wasted. They are the soil from which glory is rising. Every scar you tried to hide, I am turning into ink. Every moment you thought was meaningless, I am using to carve wisdom into your spirit. What seemed like chaos to you was the raw material of transformation to me. You didn't fall out of my plan, you fell into my mercy. And what you considered delay, I have already repurposed into divine timing. Do not fear the blank page in front of you. It is not empty, it is sacred. I am filling it with new beginnings, not shaped by striving but by surrender. This next chapter is not your attempt to fix what went wrong. It is my declaration that nothing was beyond my ability to redeem. I am doing a new thing, not simply changing the scenery, but resurrecting purpose within the places that once felt abandoned. Stand now and release your grip on the pen. You were never meant to write without me. Trust that I am crafting something more beautiful than you could imagine. I do not erase your past, I illuminate it through the lens of grace. I do not skip the pain, I weave it into the fabric of healing so it becomes strength, not shame. Step forward not as a character trapped in tragedy, but as a vessel of transformation. Let your soul breathe again. Let the ink of my spirit flow freely through you. The words I speak over your life are not faint echoes. They are thunderous with destiny. I speak not in guesses, but with the certainty of eternity. This new chapter is not a second chance. It is a divine continuation. I never stopped writing, even when you stopped believing. Lift your eyes. See the pages turning. Hear the sound of heaven penning a story that cannot be undone by failure. The narrative belongs to me, and I have called it good. Your ending will not mirror your wounds. It will reflect my glory. What begins now is not fiction. It is fulfillment. I'm writing. You are living. And together, we are revealing a masterpiece that no darkness can erase. You thought your return would be met with silence, that your coming back to me would be acknowledged with quiet tolerance. But the heavens did not hesitate. The moment your heart turned, all of eternity responded. Angelic voices rose like a waterfall of praise, not because you were perfect, but because you were mine, and you remembered. Your homecoming wasn't just noticed. It was celebrated. Heaven erupted with the kind of joy only love could generate. I wasn't standing at a distance, watching passively. I was the first to shout. I didn't just open the door. I tore down every wall between us. I didn't walk. I ran. And when I reached you, I wrapped you in belonging. I didn't ask where you'd been. I focused on where you were, back in my arms. Every step you took toward me was met with divine acceleration, and every voice in the courts of heaven joined in the psalm I've always sung over you. You are home. No choir sang louder than mine. No throne room has ever witnessed a deeper celebration than the moment you turned your gaze toward me again. It was not mere acceptance. It was joy. It wasn't reluctant grace. It was a holy festival. The angels rejoiced, but their celebration mirrored my heart. I didn't whisper forgiveness. I declared restoration. Let this reality soak deep into your soul. You are not barely tolerated. You are extravagantly embraced. You are not a mistake I had to fix. You are a child I longed to welcome. When you thought I'd point to your failures, I pointed to your future. When you expected a trial, I threw a feast. When you feared judgment, I poured out my presence. Do not measure your worth by the time you spent away. Measure it by the joy that shook heaven when you returned. You are not the sum of your distance. You are the fulfillment of my desire. You didn't wander into grace. You were led by love. And now that you're here, nothing can separate you again. Live like one who was worth rejoicing over. Speak like someone who caused a celebration in glory. Let the sound of heaven's welcome be louder in your heart than the accusations of the past. You were not merely saved, you were celebrated. You were not simply rescued, you were rejoiced over. You are seen. You are sung over. You are secured in joy that cannot be undone. You tried so hard to impress me. You carried invisible burdens of performance, thinking that if you prayed longer, did more, believed harder, maybe then you'd be enough. But hear me clearly now, my love for you was never up for negotiation. It was not something to win. It was never a prize for effort. It was the foundation beneath your very being. Before you did anything, I chose to give you everything. You didn't start the flow of my love with your faithfulness. I loved you first. I loved you when your heart was still distant. I loved you before you knew the sound of my name. I watched you struggle and stumble, not with disappointment, but with compassion. I never looked for perfection. I looked for your presence. And even when it wasn't offered, I remained. Let go of the mindset that you have to earn what's already been settled. The cross declared your value. I didn't offer my son because you were perfect. I offered him because I wanted you close. Grace was not a reluctant gift. It was poured out in joy. My son did not die to convince me to love you. He died because I already did. You are not on a probationary period of belonging. You are not under evaluation. I have no clipboard in my hand. I have only scars, proof of a love that cost everything and asked nothing in return. You can stop striving. You can stop exhausting yourself in pursuit of something already yours. My affection is not locked behind your effort. It is yours because I am yours. I am not moved by your achievements. I am moved by your existence. You do not impress me by pretending to be strong. I am drawn to your honesty, your need, your surrender. I do not love your curated self. I love your true self, the one that cries in secret, that hopes in silence, that longs for home. Come now. Set down the armor. Let your soul breathe. I never required your excellence. I only invited your openness. My love is not calculated by spiritual performance. It is anchored in eternal covenant. You are not a servant earning wages. You are my child, already rich in mercy. And even if you brought me nothing, I would still call you mine. You believed the silence proved my absence. You assumed your drifting meant I had given up. But I never once considered you lost. I knew exactly where you were. Every step you took, I followed, not to control you but to cover you. I watched with compassion, not with condemnation. You were never abandoned, you were being drawn. Though your heart wrestled, though your path twisted, I never misread your journey. I simply saw it through the lens of eternity. You were not forgotten. You were being shaped. You were not discarded. You were being pursued. While your heart ached for belonging, I was preparing a homecoming that would silence every accusation, every fear, every lie. The moments you cursed yourself for weakness, I covered you with mercy. The nights you buried your face in regret, I leaned in closer, not further. You didn't have to earn your way back. You were already on the path I had written long before your first breath. What others saw as a fall, I saw as formation. What you feared was distance. I had already measured and filled with grace. did not panic when you veered off course. I planted signs along the way. I whispered through strangers, through sorrow, through songs and storms. I lit candles in the darkness, not to shame you, but to lead you home. You never exited my heart. You never slipped from my hands. You were never invisible to me. I knew the moment your spirit would awaken. I saw the second your defenses would break and your eyes would lift. And I waited, not with anger but with affection. I never placed a wall between us, only a table. And it remained set, even in your absence. When the world called you a wanderer, I called you mine. When the voices said too far gone, I said, just one step away. You were never lost to me, only learning the weight of your hunger, only discovering the depth of your need for me. Every turn was seen. Every detour was within the map of redemption I etched into your soul. Now you are here, not as a stranger returning, but as a son restored. Not as one barely accepted, but as one joyfully received. My embrace was never reluctant. My arms never folded. They were outstretched before you knew you needed them. And now, as you step into the fullness of my presence, you'll begin to understand what I've known all along. This was always where you were going. This was always who you were. So stand tall. Shake off the shame of wondering. Break agreement with the lie that said you were disqualified. Let the residue of your detour fall off your shoulders. I never saw you as a failure. I saw you as returning. And now that you are here, you can finally rest, not in what you've done, but in what I've always held for you. Your name is not lost. Your name is not too late. Your name is not used up. Your name is found, called, restored, redeemed. I have written it on my heart. I have woven it into my promises. I have sung it into the winds of eternity. And now, my child, you are home, not because you found me, but because you remembered where you belonged. Welcome back. Welcome forward. You were never lost. You were always mine. Now that you've heard the truth, I never saw you as lost, only returning. Will you help me speak this to others still wandering in silence? This isn't the end of the message. It's the beginning of your participation. When you give, you are not funding a platform. You are opening the heavens over another broken soul, allowing my whisper to reach them in their midnight hour. I have said, give and it shall be given to you, and I do not speak without fulfilling my word. You've asked me, Lord, how can I be part of what you're doing? Is it your super thanks, membership, or PayPal gift is a prophetic act, a holy answer that unleashes my voice across borders and screens. Blessings will pour back, not only in provision, but in peace, clarity, and divine protection over your household. So don't wait. Partner with me now. The link is in the description. Move and watch me move with you. Now pause. Breathe in my presence. Let these truths sink into the deepest corners of your soul. This was not just a message. It was my heart poured out for you. I spoke so you would remember what was never truly forgotten. You were never lost. You were always mine. So now, my child, take this moment to respond, not to me alone, but to what I've awakened inside of you. Speak it. Write it. Declare it below as a signpost of your return, your restoration, your identity. Let the world and every voice around you hear what I have already spoken over you. Declare it in the comments. I was never lost to him. I was always his. Or speak this aloud wherever you are. I belong to the one who never stopped loving me. And if this word met you in a place too deep for words, simply leave a comment below. It is not just a comment. It is a signal to heaven that something eternal just shifted within you. Don't let this be the end. Let it be the beginning of your communion, your conversation, your covenant with me. Share this if it stirred your soul. And come back often. I will always be here, waiting to whisper again. You are not forgotten. You are not forsaken. You are mine. Now speak, let heaven hear you. Let the noise of the world fall away for just a moment and sit with me. I want to talk to you about your journey, about the path you have walked. You see, even when your steps faltered, when you deliberately chose roads that led you into valleys of sorrow, my eyes never left you. I was there. I saw the instant regret on your face after you spoke those words you couldn't take back. I watched you turn down that street you knew you shouldn't, hoping to find a moment of escape, only to find a deeper emptiness waiting for you. Every time you felt that familiar ache of being on the wrong path, know that I felt it with you, my heart longing for you to turn back toward me. You have been so thirsty, my precious one. I watched you dig well after well with your own hands, seeking solace in places I never designed to hold water. You sought it in the approval of people who barely know your heart, scrolling for hours just to feel seen, to feel valued. You chased after job titles and the numbers in your bank account, believing that if you could just reach that next level, the thirst would finally be quenched. But it never was it? I saw you, after the temporary praise faded, after the new purchase lost its shine, sitting in the quiet and feeling that same profound emptiness. You were searching for my living water in the cracked, dry earth of the world, and all along, I was here, an endless fountain waiting for you. I see the compass of your soul, that deep, inner knowing I placed within you. I have watched it spin wildly, trying to find its true north. In the middle of the night, you have laid awake, staring at the ceiling, and the question echoed in the silence of your mind, what am I doing? Is this all there is? That confusion, that desperate search for a direction that feels right, that is your soul crying out for me. You have been looking for lasting meaning in the fleeting treasures of this life, trying to build a mansion on shifting sand. You thought a better career would give you purpose, a different relationship would give you belonging, but those things are temporary. Your search was not foolish, my child. You were just looking in the wrong kingdom. Behind every one of those choices, I saw the real reason. I saw the deep, painful ache for belonging. You have felt like an orphan, haven't you? You've looked at your life, your family, your friends, and felt like an outsider, convinced that you had wandered too far, that you had truly forsaken your home with me. You believed the lie that you were on your own. But let me speak this truth directly into your heart. Every detour you took, every wrong turn you made, was already charted on the vast, unending map of my grace. There was never a moment you surprised me. There was never a step you took that made me turn away. I saw it all. I knew it all. And my love for you never wavered, not for a single second. You felt lost, but you were never, ever lost to me. My child, you thought your struggle was a silent one, but to me, it has always been a roar. The unspoken prayers of your soul, those deep groans of your spirit that you couldn't even form into words, they reached my throne as a thunderous plea for rescue. I heard them all. I heard the desperate cry for help that you swallowed back when someone asked if you were okay. I heard the longing for peace that you felt in the middle of a crowded room. You believed no one was listening, but I have been attentive to the most hidden language of your heart. I hear what words cannot say. I understand the prayers you are afraid to speak. I was there in the lonely watches of the night, when the house was still and the only sound was the beating of your own anxious heart. It was in the darkness that you whispered the questions you were too ashamed to voice during the day. Have I gone too far this time? Can I ever be forgiven for this? Why do I keep failing? Am I being punished? You thought these questions vanished into the darkness, but they traveled directly to my ears. I wasn't just an observer of your pain. I was a participant in your search for answers. Every question born of your shame, I answered with my silent, unwavering love, waiting for the moment you would be ready to hear me. That weary sigh you exhale at the end of a long day, the one where the full weight of your life seems to settle on your shoulders. I know that sound intimately. It is the sound of a spirit carrying burdens it was never created to bear alone. You were trying to be strong, to manage everything, to fix everything. But that sigh was a confession, an admission that you were tired. Tired of pretending, tired of striving, tired of failing. I hear that weariness, my child, and my heart aches for you to simply lay it all down at my feet. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. That is not just a suggestion. It is a divine command, an invitation into my peace. And your tears, you thought they were shed in secret, that no one saw you crying in your car, in the shower, or with your face buried in your pillow. But I have collected every single one. Not one tear has fallen to the ground unnoticed. To me, they are not signs of weakness. They are precious reminders of your tender heart, your need for a Savior. They are a liquid prayer, a holy water that tells the story of your longing for redemption, for comfort, for home. I watched your heart break over your own failures, over the times you let yourself and others down, and I promise you, I grieved with you. The pain you felt over your own sin was a pale reflection of the sorrow I felt, not in anger, but in a deep, fatherly love that yearned to make you whole. The quiet desperation that was consuming you was a sacred conversation I had already begun in your spirit, pulling you, calling you, whispering to you that the way back home was not only possible, but it was right in front of you. I want to talk about the weight you've been carrying. It's heavier than any physical object, and it has been crushing you. It is the lie that you are disconnected from me, from my infinite and unconditional love. You have felt this separation as a real and solid thing, a chasm between us. I felt you carrying this crushing burden every single day. I saw how it slowed your steps, how it stole your joy, how it made you feel utterly alone in the universe. You believed that your mistakes, your wanderings, had somehow severed a connection that is, in truth, eternal and unbreakable. You have been laboring under a lie, and today, I have come to lift that weight from you. I understood the profound chill of loneliness that you felt in your soul, and I know that you mistook it for my holy absence. You thought my silence was a sign of my displeasure. You looked at the chaos in your life and concluded, God must have left me. He must be angry with me. My precious child, listen to me. My presence is not a feeling that comes and goes with your emotional weather. I am the constant. The warmth of the sun does not cease to exist simply because you are standing in a shadow. The shadow was your fear, your guilt, your misperception. But I was never gone. You interpreted the coldness of your circumstance as the coldness of my heart, and nothing could be further from the truth. I watched, with a grieving heart, as you began to build walls around yourself. You did it to protect a heart that you wrongly believed I had wounded or abandoned. You thought that if you didn't hope for too much, you wouldn't be disappointed again. If you didn't get too close, you wouldn't be hurt again. You built these walls brick by brick with your doubt and your pain, thinking you were keeping yourself safe. But you were only imprisoning yourself. I was never the one on the outside trying to attack you. I was the one on the inside with you, trapped behind the very walls you had built, longing for you to tear them down so you could feel my embrace. And the silence, a deafening, terrifying echo in your soul where you desperately expected to hear my voice. You would cry out, and all you heard back was the echo of your own pain. You thought it was a sign of my abandonment. But I was not silent. I was speaking in the sunrise, in the kindness of a stranger, in the unexplainable peace that settled on you for a fleeting moment. But your fear was a roaring noise that drowned out my gentle whisper. That silence you feared was a space I intended to fill, not with condemnation, but with my song of redemption over you. I bore the weight of your complete misunderstanding of my character, knowing the eternal truth of my unceasing nearness. The most painful deception you ever accepted, the one that pained my fatherly heart the most, was that you were an orphan in the cosmos. You are not an orphan. You are my child. You had a home. You had a father. And that has never, for one moment, stopped being true. My child, we must now speak of the illusions that have held you captive. The spiritual darkness you felt, the one that made you believe you were utterly and hopelessly lost, was nothing more than a fleeting shadow. You must understand this. I am light, and in me, there is no darkness at all. Not a speck, not a hint. The darkness you experienced was not a place you had entered, but a blindfold you were wearing. It was a symptom of your spiritual exhaustion, not a statement about your location. You felt surrounded by it, but the entire time, you were standing in the full, radiant, and glorious light of my presence. The shadow only existed because the light was so near. The immense distance you perceived between us was a mirage. It was an optical illusion created by the shimmering heat of your own fear. You imagined you had journeyed into a far country, a place of spiritual exile where my influence could not reach you. You looked back, and the road seemed so long, you believed you could never make it home. But let me tell you a secret of my kingdom. There is no such country. The borders of my grace encompass the entire universe. There is no corner you can turn, no abyss you can fall into, that is outside the sovereign territory of my love. You were never in a far country, you were always in my backyard, simply facing the wrong direction. You felt lost in a blinding fog of worldly confusion. The voices of others, the pressures of your culture, the endless demands on your time and energy, they swirled around you until you could no longer see the path. This fog was real, but it could never obscure you from my all-seeing eye. I was the lighthouse, cutting through the densest fog, my beam of light fixed firmly upon you, even when you could not see me. I saw your position perfectly. I knew exactly where you were and what you needed. You felt lost, but you were always perfectly located on my map. And the whispers of the enemy, those venomous lies that hissed in your ear that you were forgotten, that you were worthless, that your sins were too great, you started to believe them. You let those lies become the soundtrack to your life. But I dispatched my son on a divine mission to silence those lies forever. His life, his death, and his resurrection were my definitive, eternal answer to every accusation of the enemy. You believed you had wandered far beyond my reach, but my arm of salvation is never too short to save. There is no depth you can sink to that my hand cannot pull you out of. You were never forgotten. You were never unreachable. Those were the greatest illusions, and today, by the power of my word, I am shattering them to pieces. Look and see the truth. You are here. I am here. There is no distance between us. My beloved, I saw you on the open sea of life, feeling utterly adrift. I want you to see what I saw. When the waves of circumstance crashed violently over you, that unexpected bill, that diagnosis from the doctor, that sudden betrayal, you felt your little boat would surely capsize. You were holding on for dear life, tossed back and forth, with no control. But even then, there was an unseen anchor holding you fast, keeping you from being swept away into the abyss. That anchor was me. Your circumstances were raging, but your soul was secretly tethered to the unshakable rock of my sovereignty. You felt you were drifting, but you were securely held. I saw you being tossed about by the changing winds of human doctrines and empty, fleeting philosophies. One day you were told that success was the key to happiness, and you sailed in that direction. The next, you heard that self-discovery was the answer, and you changed your course. You were swayed by every popular opinion, every new trend, every convincing argument that promised you a safe harbor. But these were just wines, with no substance, blowing you here and there, leaving you exhausted and more lost than before. I am the one true destination, the only safe harbor for your soul, and all those other winds were just distractions from the steady call of my voice. While you were desperately battling the raging tempest in your own soul, the storm of anxiety, the hurricane of fear, the downpour of grief, I was already on board your vessel. You were so focused on the wind and the waves, you didn't even notice my presence right there with you. You were fighting a battle you thought was yours alone. But I was there, waiting for you to simply turn and see me, ready to stand and speak to the storms of your heart and command them, "Peace, be still." The power to calm your inner world has been with you all along, because I have been with you all along. Your desperate struggle to keep your head above the waters of despair was a fight I had already won on your behalf. You felt like you were drowning in debt, drowning in loneliness, drowning in your own failures. But my child, you were never in danger of going under. My son walked on the water, he commanded the sea, he conquered death itself. The powerful cultural currents of this world, the ones that try to pull you under with their demands for more, with their lies about where your value comes from, they are no match with the sovereign tide of my purpose for your life. Even in those moments when you were utterly convinced your ship was sinking, that all was lost, I remain the unerring, ever-present, all-powerful captain of your vessel. I have never lost a ship. I have never lost a soul. And I was certainly not going to lose you. My child, pause with me. We have just revisited the storms you faced, and you are beginning to see that you were never alone. But please do not turn away now. It would grieve my heart for you to understand the struggle without letting me show you how my loving gaze was always upon you, even in the highest waves. To leave now is to remember the fear but miss the comfort. Stay with me. The most personal truths are yet to come. Listen closely, my child, for this is a truth that must settle deep within your spirit. Before you were ever formed in your mother's womb, before your heart took its first beat, my gaze had consecrated you. I knew you. I chose you. I set you apart for a purpose that is uniquely yours. Your existence is not an accident. It is a divine appointment. My eyes were upon you not just at your beginning, but from before all beginnings. You have never known a moment when you were not the object of my focused, intentional, and loving gaze. Think of your moments of most profound shame, the times you could not even bear to look at yourself in the mirror. In those very moments, my look was not one of condemnation. You braced yourself for my anger, for my judgment, but what you would have seen, had you looked up, was a gaze of deep, restorative compassion. I saw your brokenness, and my heart moved toward you, not away from you. My gaze did not count your sins, it saw your sorrow. It did not focus on your failure, it focused on your need for a father. Then think of the times you achieved some worldly success. Perhaps you foolishly forgot me in those moments, believing your own strength had brought you your victories. My gaze upon you then was not impatient or angry. It was patient. I was waiting, ever waiting, for you to remember the true source of your strength. My love for you does not fluctuate based on your attention to me. It is a constant. I watched over you while you slept, guarding your dreams, and I guided your waking moments, even when you did not acknowledge my hand. My vigilance has been a constant canopy of protection over your entire life. You see yourself now, with all your perceived flaws and weaknesses, but my eyes have always seen the glorious potential within you. I see the unique masterpiece I am carefully and lovingly crafting. You are a work in progress, and I am the master artist. I see the finished product. I see the strength, the beauty, the grace, the wisdom that I am forming in you. You are more beautiful and more powerful than you could ever imagine, because you are being conformed to the image of my Son. And know this with absolute certainty: my knowledge of you is so complete, so intimate, that not a single hair could fall from your head without my express knowledge and permission. If I am concerned with such a small detail, how much more am I invested in the entirety of your life, your heart, and your soul? You have always been seen. You have always been known. You have always been loved. You have spent so much of your life feeling utterly alone, even when surrounded by people. Remember those crowded rooms, the parties, the family gatherings where you felt the most isolated. You would smile, you would talk, but inside, a profound loneliness echoed. In those exact moments, I stood closer to you than your very own breath. I was the silent companion who understood the meaning behind your forced smile, who saw the weariness in your eyes. While you felt like an invisible observer in your own life, you were, in truth, the absolute focus of my divine attention. I was your true company when all other company felt hollow. Remember those long, desolate roads you walked, both in your mind and in the world. The late night drives with no destination. The lonely walks trying to clear your head. The seasons of your life where it felt like you had no one to turn to. You were convinced you were walking that path completely alone. But I tell you now, my divine footsteps fell in perfect, silent rhythm with yours. I was there. I did not rush ahead, nor did I fall behind. I walked with you, matching you step for step, sharing the burden of that lonely road. You have dismissed so much of my presence as simple chance, that unexpected kind word from a stranger that came at the exact moment you needed it. That was me speaking through them. That sudden, unexplainable oasis of peace that washed over you during a chaotic day at work. That was me, laying my hand upon your spirit. You have looked for me in the thunderous and the spectacular, and you have missed me in the gentle and the near. I have been speaking to you, helping you, and comforting you in 1,000 small ways that you are only now beginning to see. Do you recall the moments when your own resolve had completely crumbled? When you were so physically and emotionally exhausted that you thought, I cannot take one more step. I cannot do this anymore. And yet, somehow, you did. You found a supernatural strength to face one more day, to have one more difficult conversation, to endure one more hour of pain. My child, that was not your resilience. That was mine. The incredible strength you discovered deep within your spirit was a spark ignited by my own divine nature, a direct infusion of my power into your weakness. And you must know my holy presence was an invisible shield around you, deflecting spiritual dangers you never even knew were aimed at you. Arrows of slander, traps of temptation, schemes of the enemy to utterly destroy you. They were all broken against the shield of my constant, loving presence. You were protected, even when you felt exposed. You were accompanied, even when you felt abandoned. I want you to reconsider your disappointments. Think about the doors that have been firmly closed in your face. The job you desperately wanted but didn't get. The relationship you were sure was the one that ended in heartbreak. The opportunity that slipped through your fingers. In those moments, you felt rejected. You felt that I had failed you or that you had failed me. But I ask you now to see it from my perspective. My sovereign hand firmly closed those doors, not to punish you, but to protect you from hidden paths of immense sorrow. You could not see the pain that lay beyond those doors, but I could. My no was not a rejection. It was a rescue. It was the highest form of my love, guarding your future from a pain you could not foresee. And just as I closed doors to protect you, I sovereignly opened windows of divine opportunity that you weren't even looking for. Think back. The unexpected phone call, the chance encounter with an old friend, the idea that seemed to pop into your head from out of nowhere. You dismissed these moments as coincidence, as a lucky break. They were not. They were the careful, loving orchestrations of my guidance. They were windows I was opening to lead you into the blessings I had prepared for you all along. I was always at work, arranging circumstances, moving people, and preparing a path for you that was far better than the one you would have chosen for yourself. My hand has steadied you during countless unseen stumbles. There were times you were one foolish decision away from a devastating fall that would have broken you. There were moments you were on the verge of a financial disaster, a relational catastrophe, a spiritual collapse. You look back now and think you narrowly escaped. You did not. My hand intervened. I steadied you. I prevented the fall. I gently, but firmly steered you away from the hidden snares and carefully laid traps of your adversary. The enemy had a plan to ruin you, but he never accounted for the fact that you have a Father who is always watching, always guiding, always protecting. Therefore, I invite you to stop using words like coincidence or good luck. They are not worthy of what has happened in your life. What you have experienced is called Providence. It is the reality that my divine and fatherly touch has always been on the tiller of your life. Even when you were fighting me, trying to steer the ship in your own direction, my hand was there, gently, but irresistibly navigating you toward your true harbor, which is me. Your life has not been a series of random events. It has been a guided journey. You may not have felt the hand that was guiding you, but I promise you, it has never let go. My child, let this truth sink deeper than any you have ever known. All the days ordained for you, every single moment of your existence, were meticulously written in my book before one of them ever came to be. Your life is not a random collection of events. It is a story, and I am its author. Before you took your first breath, I knew your last. I saw the whole beautiful, messy, glorious story of your life unfold in the timelessness of my being. Nothing has ever been left to chance. This is what you must understand. I foreknew your every rebellion. I foresaw every time you would wander, every failure that would break your heart, every sin that would cause you shame. And I also foresaw every victory, every act of kindness, every moment of faith. And I, the master weaver, took all of it, the dark threads and the bright ones, and wove them all into the perfect and beautiful tapestry of my sovereign plan. Your failures did not derail my plan for you. They were always a part of it. They were the very things I would use to teach you about grace, to show you your need for me, and to ultimately display the power of my redemption. The triumphant end of your story was declared by me from its very beginning. I did not create you, and then hope you would find your way back to me. I created you with the end of the story already written. Your salvation is not a fragile hope. It is a finished work. Because I knew the end from the beginning, there was never a moment you surprised me. There was never a choice you made that caught your omniscient Father off guard. You do not have the power to disappoint me. Let the thought free you. You cannot mess up your life so badly that you fall outside of my plan, because your mess was accounted for in my plan from the very start. You may wonder, then, about your freedom. I gave you the freedom to choose, the freedom to wander. But my love and my wisdom are so vast that I could grant you that freedom and still lovingly account for every single one of your choices within my unshakable design. It's like a grandmaster of chess who knows every possible move his opponent could make and has a perfect counter for each one, ensuring his victory from the very first move. My foreknowledge of your entire journey did not diminish my love for you. It magnified the scope of my grace. To know every mistake you would make, every time you would betray my love, and to still choose you, to still die for you, to still call you my own. That, my child, is the measure of a love you can build your entire life upon. You have known your share of dark valleys. My word promises that you will walk through them, and you have. But you have misunderstood the most famous of these promises. When you walked through the valley of the shadow of death, you were terrified of the shadow. But think, my child, for there to be a shadow, there must be a light. You were not alone in the darkness. I was there with you, the very light of the world. I was the substance casting that shadow, proving my nearness to you in your moment of greatest fear. The closer the light, the darker the shadow. Your fear of the shadow was, in fact, evidence of my immediate and powerful presence. You have walked through the disorienting valley of doubt, where the ground beneath your feet felt like it was turning to quicksand. Every belief you held was shaken. You questioned everything you thought you knew about me, about yourself, about life. In that valley, where you felt you were sinking, I was the firm, unshakable ground of eternal truth beneath your feet. Even when your faith in me was weak, my faithfulness to you was perfect. I was the solid rock you were standing on, even as you felt you were falling. You have known the searing, lonely valley of temptation. You have felt the pull toward a sin that promised relief, but would only bring more pain. You have wrestled, you have fought, and sometimes you have fallen. But I want you to remember the times you did not. Remember when you were about to give in, and a sudden strength, a sudden thaw, a way of escape you didn't expect, appeared before you. That was me. I was faithfully providing for you in the valley of temptation, showing you that with my strength, you could walk through it and come out clean on the other side. You have cried your way through the lonely valley of heartbreak. You have felt the shattering pain of loss and betrayal. In that valley, I was not a distant observer of your pain. I was the divine physician, right there beside you, collecting your tears in a bottle, taking the shattered pieces of your heart into my gentle hands, and beginning the slow, sacred work of mending your spirit. And in the humiliating valley of failure, when you were laid low by your own choices and could not even lift your head, I was the persistent, loving voice that knelt beside you in the dust and whispered, "Rise up, my child. This is not your end. This is not who you are. My protection has been your rear guard against the ghosts of your past regrets, and your strong tower against the fears of your present circumstances. My child, you have felt my presence as your shield in the darkest valley. Your heart asks, how can I share this light? This is your answer. Every gift you sow is a seed of light planted in the soil of another's despair, becoming a lamp for their feet in a desolate valley. It grieves my heart to see my other children still stumbling in darkness, convinced they are alone. This moment is not random. Your obedience now sends a rescue mission into their deepest fears. I promised that the people dwelling in darkness would see a great light, and you are how I am fulfilling that promise today. As you release this gift, I release over you a shield of peace that no shadow can penetrate. Now, sow that light. You super thanks. Become a member, or find the PayPal link below, and partner with me in piercing the darkness. Beloved, breathe this in. We have walked through your darkest valleys together just now. I implore you, do not leave this sacred space. To stop now would be to see the shadows without understanding the purpose of the light that cast them. It would wound my spirit for you to miss this next truth, for we are on the verge of turning your season of aimless wandering into a story of divine appointment. We are so close. Stay a little longer. There have been seasons in your life that felt like a barren wilderness. You felt dry, aimless, and forgotten. You wandered in circles, and your soul thirsted for relief that never seemed to come. I want to tell you the truth about those wilderness times. I led you into that seeming desolation not to abandon you, but because it was the only place quiet enough for you to hear me. It was my divine appointment, a place where I could finally have you all to myself, away from the noise and distractions of the world, so I could speak tenderly and directly to your heart. The wilderness was my chosen instrument to strip away your fragile and failing self-reliance. In the comfort of your normal life, you trusted in your own strength, your own intellect, your own plans. But in the wilderness, all of those things failed you. You were brought to the end of yourself. As with a gift, it was there, in your weakness, that you could finally begin to discover the limitless, inexhaustible nature of my strength. It was in the barrenness that I taught you the eternal truth that you do not live by bread alone, but by every single word that proceeds from my mouth. You learn that your true sustenance comes only from me. The painful isolation you felt was designed by me to silence the world's distracting clamor. The voices of friends, of family, of your culture, all faded away, and for the first time, there was a stillness. It was in that profound quiet that you could finally begin to discern my gentle whisper. It was a voice that had been speaking all along, but you were finally able to hear it. It was in your scarcity that I revealed my supernatural provision. Remember that unexpected help, the provision that came from nowhere, just when you needed it most. That was your spiritual manna from heaven. That was the living water I brought forth from a rock for you. Therefore, you must completely reframe your past suffering. Your season of aimless wandering was, in truth, a holy training ground. It was never, ever a place of punishment. It was a place of preparation. It was a sacred space where I was doing the deepest and most important work in you. I was teaching you, molding you, strengthening you, and preparing you for the promises I have for you. The wilderness was not your prison. It was your classroom. It was not a sign of my displeasure. It was a sign of my deep, intentional, and transformative love for you. You have often looked back on your life and lamented the long, winding way you have come. You see the detours, the wasted years, the scenic routes that led nowhere, and you have mourned them. You think of the shortcuts you could have taken. But listen to me now. That long way around was my chosen path for you, designed to teach you profound lessons you could never have learned on the easy road. A faith built on a shortcut is a shallow faith, unable to withstand the storms. I was not interested in giving you an easy faith. I was interested in forging a deep, resilient, and powerful one. The long road was the only way to do that. You learned to hold my hand because you first learned what it felt like to fall. Remember those repeated stumbles, the times you were so sure you could handle it on your own, only to find yourself on the ground again, bruised and ashamed. Each of those moments was a painful, but necessary lesson. They taught you the absolute necessity of holding fast to my unchanging, powerful hand. You stopped trusting your own footing because you realized it was unreliable. Your stumbles were not failures, they were invitations. They were my way of teaching you to stop walking alone and to finally, desperately, reach out for me. And I was always there to take your hand. I lovingly permitted you to completely exhaust your own resources. You tried everything else first, didn't you? You trusted in your own intelligence until it failed you. You trusted in your money until it ran out. You trusted in your own strength until you had none left. You trusted in your plans until they all fell apart. I allowed you to come to the very end of yourself, not as a punishment, but so you could finally see the utter limitlessness of my resources. It was only when your well was completely dry that you were willing to drink from my eternal spring. It was only when your hands were empty that you were ready to receive what I longed to give you. You must understand this. The pain you experienced on the journey is what will make the final destination of my intimate presence that much sweeter. The relief of a cool drink is only truly known by one who has been parched with thirst. The joy of a safe harbor is only truly understood by a sailor who has survived the terrifying storm. In the same way, the profound peace and glorious rest of my presence will mean so much more to you because you have known the agony of the journey. And your weakness, the thing you have despised in yourself for so long, has become the perfect canvas. Your confessed weakness, your admission that you cannot do it on your own, is the prerequisite for my power. For my strength is made perfect, not in your strength but in your weakness. The detour you regret was not a delay of my promise to you. It was a crucial and necessary part of its ultimate fulfillment. You could not have received the promise without the journey that prepared you for it. You have been haunted by a feeling of emptiness. You have tried to fill it with so many things, with people, with work, with entertainment, with possessions. You have hewn for yourself cisterns, broken cisterns that can hold no water. I allowed them all to break. I allowed every temporary solution to fail. I did this not to frustrate you, but so you would finally thirst for me, the one true fountain of living water, the only source that can ever truly satisfy the longing of your soul. The emptiness was a gift, for it created the thirst that would eventually lead you to me. That agonizing hollowness you felt deep inside, that ache that nothing in the world could touch, that was not a wound. That was a sacred space. That was me, the divine sculptor, carefully carving out a space within you for my glory to inhabit. It was a painful process, but a necessary one. A room cannot be filled until it is first empty. I was clearing out the clutter of your self-reliance, the debris of your worldly attachments, to prepare a holy place within you, a temple where my own spirit could come and dwell. The hollowness was the sound of holy construction. I let you taste the bitter ashes of worldly pleasures. You pursued them, thinking they would be sweet. For a moment, perhaps they were. But they always left a bitter aftertaste, didn't they? They left you feeling more empty than before. I allowed this so you would develop an insatiable hunger for something real, something that lasts. I wanted you to hunger for the bread of life. I wanted your soul to yearn for the pure, satisfying nourishment that only I can provide. The unsatisfying nature of the world's offerings was meant to drive you to my table, where a feast has been prepared for you from the beginning of time. That aching void in the center of your heart was not a random flaw in your design. It was shaped by my own hand. It was shaped perfectly for my Holy Spirit to come and make his eternal home. It is a God-shaped vacuum that only I can fill. I lovingly, patiently, emptied your hands of the worthless idols you clung to so tightly. You trusted in them for your security, for your identity. I showed you they were worthless, not to leave your hands empty, but to free them to receive the true and eternal gifts I long to give you. So you see, that knowing vacuum, that persistent emptiness, was never a sign of my absence. It was my personal, divine invitation, spoken in the silent language of your soul, calling you to come and be filled with all the fullness of your God. You looked at your season of struggle as a time of exile, a time of weakness. But you were not in exile. You were in a forge, The immense pressure you endured was not meant to crush you. It was the divine pressure required to form a priceless diamond of unshakable faith within your soul. Diamonds are not formed in comfort. They are formed under the most intense pressure imaginable. I saw within you the potential for something beautiful, something unbreakable, and I allowed the pressures of life to do their holy work. The refining fires of affliction that you have walked through, the ones that felt like they would consume you entirely, were never meant to destroy you. They were my tool to burn away the dross, the impurities in your character, the pride, the fear, the selfishness, the doubt, cannot survive in the fire of my presence. The fire burned away that which was not of me, so that which was purely of me could shine forth. You felt the heat and you feared you would be turned to ash. But you have emerged purified, more radiant, and more reflective of my glory than ever before. In what you called your exile, you learned to fight critical spiritual battles. It was your spiritual boot camp. You learned how to wield the sword of my word. You learned how to stand firm under attack. You learned to recognize the voice of the enemy. These were skills you could not have learned in a time of peace. I was preparing you, training you for your promised land inheritance. The battles you will face in the future will be won because of the strength and skill you acquired in the crucible you have just left behind. Every time you were tempted and, by the power of my grace, you chose to resist, your spiritual muscles grew stronger. You may not have felt it at the time. You may have only felt the strain, the struggle. But with every act of obedience, with every choice to trust me instead of your feelings, your spirit was becoming more powerful, more resilient. And the scars you now carry from your journey, do not see them as marks of shame. They are not. They are shining trophies of my resounding victory in you. They are a testimony to every battle you survived, every fire you walked through, every giant you faced. You have emerged from that difficult season not weaker, but as a warrior, tested, approved, and now, finally, ready for my service. My grace has been hunting for you your entire life, often showing up in the most unlikely of places. I want you to see my hand in moments you have forgotten. You remember the time you deeply wronged someone. You deserved their anger, their rejection. You prepared yourself for it. But instead, they showed you undeserved forgiveness, a kindness that made no sense. My child, that was me. You saw a glimpse of my own heart of grace reflected in them. You found my boundless mercy waiting for you in the very midst of your greatest failure. You hit rock bottom. You were sure you had finally made a mistake so great that I would turn my back on you forever. You expected judgment, condemnation, a lightning bolt from heaven. But instead, what did you find? A strange, quiet peace, an unexpected second chance. The way forward when you thought all roads were closed. That, beloved, was my mercy, meeting you not where you should have been, but right where you were in the middle of your mess. You have felt my tangible presence and not even known it was me. It came as a sacred melody on the radio that seemed to be speaking directly to your soul. It came in a glorious sunset that took your breath away and, for a moment, made all your problems seem small. It came as a moment of unexpected quiet in a day full of chaos, a brief pause where you felt a sense of peace you could not explain. These were not random emotional experiences. These were divine appointments, moments where I pulled back the curtain of the physical world to let you feel the reality of my presence wrapped around you. My grace has often worn a human face. It appeared as a helping hand extended to you from a person you least expected to show you kindness. It was a friend who stuck by you when everyone else walked away. You saw my unwavering faithfulness perfectly reflected in their steadfast loyalty. I manifest my character through my people. When you saw their loyalty, you were seeing a reflection of mine. And even in the pigsty of your own making, in those places of deep shame and regret, my prevenient grace was already there. I was the one who placed that longing for home in your heart. I was the one who was paving the prodigal's road back to me, long before you even decided to take the first step. Do you feel that? My grace has been woven through your entire life. But what I am about to tell you is the very heart of it all, the source from which every one of those moments flowed. To leave this conversation now would be like admiring the streams, but turning your back on the fountainhead. It would break my fatherly heart. The most crucial, life-altering part of my message to you is next. I need you to hear this. Stay with me. This is perhaps the most difficult truth for your heart to accept, so listen with all your being. My love for you is not contingent on your flawless performance. I love you at your absolute worst, in your moment of greatest sin and rebellion, just as much as I love you at your very best. My love is perfect, which means it does not change. It does not increase when you are good, and it does not decrease when you fail. It is the one true constant in the universe. You must stop trying to earn my affection. My love for you is not a wage that you can earn through your efforts. It is not a prize to be won. It is an incomprehensible gift that you can only freely and humbly receive. You have spent so much of your life striving, trying to be good enough, trying to clean yourself up, trying to impress me. Let go. Be still. Cease your striving, and simply let me love you. My love is not a reward for your performance. It is the fuel for your transformation. You cannot wander so far into the darkness that you outdistance the tenacious, relentless reach of my steadfast love. Imagine the farthest, darkest corner of the universe. My love is already there, waiting for you. There is no mistake you can make, no sin you can commit, that will cause me to let go of you. The evidence is the cross. Before you ever accomplished a single good deed, while you were still helpless in your sin, my Son died for you. That is the ultimate proof that my love comes first. It is not a response to your worthiness. It is the cause of it. Your life is a constantly changing equation of successes and failures, of joys and sorrows. But my love is the eternal, unshakable constant in that equation. It is your anchor. It is your foundation. I do not love you because you are valuable. You are valuable because I love you. My love is not based on who you are or what you have done. It is based entirely on who I am. I am love. It is my very nature. Therefore, to not love you would be to deny myself. It is an impossibility. So let this truth sever the chains of performance and perfectionism that have bound you. You are loved. Period. Unconditionally. Eternally. That is the unshakable truth upon which your entire new life is built. Before we go any further, you and I must look at the cross. I know you see it as a symbol of your sin, a reminder of the price that had to be paid for your failures. But I see it differently. The willing sacrifice of my only Son was not a statement about your sinfulness. It was the ultimate and final declaration of your infinite worth to me. It was my way of shouting across the cosmos, for all of heaven and hell to hear, "This is what you are worth to me. I would rather die than live without you." You must see the cross not as the measure of your failure, but as the undeniable proof of your value. Long before you ever entertained a single thought of worthlessness, long before you looked in the mirror with disgust or felt the sting of shame, I had already paid the highest possible price for your soul. My love for you is not a reaction. It is an action. I did not wait for you to fall and then scramble for a solution. I provided the solution before you were even aware you had a problem. The cross was a preemptive strike of love against the lies of worthlessness that I knew the world and the enemy would one day whisper to you. I want you to picture it. The nails that held my son to that tree were not driven by anonymous Roman soldiers alone. They were driven by a fierce, passionate, and eternal love for you. His every wound was for your every sin. His every drop of shed blood screamed your name across the heavens, marking you, claiming you, sealing you as mine for all eternity. It was the most personal act in the history of the universe. It was not a blanket, generic sacrifice for humanity. It was an intimate, specific ransom paid for you. Therefore, the cross of Christ is the immovable, eternal signpost that proves you have never been truly or finally lost. It is the landmark on the map of eternity that you can always look to and find your way home. It is heaven's receipt. It is the proof of purchase, written in the blood of my Son, that states clearly that you have been bought, paid for in full, redeemed, and completely reconciled to me. There are no refunds. There are no exchanges. The transaction is finished. When you feel worthless, look to the cross. When you feel lost, look to the cross. It has stood, and will always stand, as the final word on who you are and to whom you belong. And now let us speak of your sin, for I am not afraid of it. You have spent so much of your life trying to outrun your past, but I tell you a greater truth. My mercy has been pursuing you far more relentlessly than you have ever pursued your own sin. You thought you were the one running away, but I was the one running after. My grace has been chasing you down, turning every corner you turned, waiting for you in every dark alley you tried to hide in, not to condemn you, but to bring you home. My word promises you that as far as the east is from the west, so far have I completely removed your transgressions from you. Think about that. How far is the east from the west? If you travel east, you will never arrive at the west. They are on a plane where they can never, ever meet. That is where your sin is. It is not just covered up. It is not hidden in a closet. It is removed to an impossible, unreachable distance. I do not see it when I look at you. It is gone. You cannot possibly sin deeper than the ocean of my grace can reach, because that ocean is bottomless. You imagine your guilt as a great weight, but it is nothing more than a shallow puddle. The immeasurable ocean of my forgiveness is infinitely deeper. When you confess your sin, you are dropping a single, small stone into a boundless sea. It disappears, and the surface of the water becomes perfectly calm again, as if the stone never existed. You have feared that your greatest failures would be your disqualification. But the opposite is true. Where your sin abounded and threatened to overwhelm you, my grace abounded all the more. Your greatest moments of failure did not repel me. They became the stage for my most stunning displays of grace. Your past does not disqualify you from my presence. On the contrary, it perfectly qualifies you for the necessity of my pardon. Only the sick need a physician. Only the sinner needs a Savior. Your brokenness is not a barrier to my grace. It is the very reason my grace came to find you. You have thought of my forgiveness as a limited resource, as a pool of water that you could eventually use up. You have feared that one day you would come to me, and the well would be dry. This is a lie. My forgiveness is not a stagnant pool of pardon. It is a fresh, cleansing, powerful river, and its current is made new for you every single morning. It never grows stale. It never runs dry. Each and every time you come to me in repentance, the river washes over you and you are made completely clean. And you must understand, this river washes away not only the stain, but the very memory of the stain in my mind. I choose not to remember it anymore. The divine record of your sin is wiped clean, not with an eraser, but with the cleansing blood of my Son. You are the only one who keeps bringing it up. This glorious river does not come from a random source. It flows directly from my throne of grace, and its unstoppable current is eternally powered by my Son's perfect, once for all sacrifice. Its power is not based on your sincerity or your feelings, but on the finished work of the cross. Because of this, you do not have to come to me timidly, begging for a mere trickle of mercy. That is an insult to the greatness of the sacrifice. I invite you, I command you, to plunge in. Immerse your guilt, your shame, your past, your present, your future, all of it, in the overwhelming, cleansing flow of this river. Because this river is always flowing, my forgiveness is not a one-time event that can be exhausted. It is a continuous, living reality for all who are in Christ. This truth sets you free from the fear of future failure. You will stumble again, my child, but the river will still be there, flowing just as powerfully and freely as it is in this very moment. There is no dam of human failure, however great you think it is, that can halt the irresistible, life-giving flow of my divine forgiveness. It is more powerful than your greatest sin, and it is available to you right now. Here is the lie you have believed, that you must clean yourself up before you dare to come home to me. You have been trying to scrub the stains out of your own clothes, hoping to make yourself presentable enough to enter my presence. I tell you now, stop. It is a futile effort. Come to me in your filthy rags of self-effort, self-righteousness, and sin, because I have a new, perfect garment waiting for you. I do not expect you to get clean to come to me. You must come to me to get clean. The transaction at the heart of our relationship is what my saints have called the Great Exchange. I invite you to bring me your filthy garments, stained with every failure and compromise. And in return, I will personally clothe you in the spotless, perfect, dazzling righteousness of my Son. This is not a loan. It is a gift. It becomes yours forever. And you must understand, this robe is not a costume. It is not a temporary disguise to hide your sin. It is a new reality that permanently transforms your identity. When I look at you, I no longer see your sin. I see the perfect righteousness of Christ. This robe is a garment of unimaginable honor. It signifies your true status as a beloved, adopted, and fully legitimate child of the King. You are no longer an outcast or a slave. You are royalty. Because you are clothed in this robe, the accuser of the brethren, the enemy of your soul, has no valid charge to bring against you. He may shout your past failures at you, but when he brings his accusations before my throne, I see only the perfect righteousness of my Son. The case is dismissed. Every time. This is your eternal security. The great exchange, your sin for his righteousness, is the very heart of my gospel of peace. You do not have to perform for me. You do not have to earn your place. You only need to let go of your rags and allow me to clothe you. Will you do that now? You now understand the glorious truth of the robe of righteousness I have given you. You have felt the warmth of my forgiveness, and you have asked, Lord, how can I be used by you? This is how I am answering you now. Your support extends this same robe to another soul who is shivering in the rags of their shame, allowing them to feel the embrace of my grace. To know this truth and not share it would wound my spirit. I declared, give, and it will be given to you. A good measure, pressed down and running over. As you act in faith, I will honor your gift by clothing your household in my unwavering favor. Do not let this moment pass. Act now. Use the links, give through super thanks, or join this mission, and sow this covering of grace into another's life. My child, the robe of righteousness is laid out before you. The offer of a clean start is real and it is yours. But it would grieve me beyond words for you to see the open door of home but never step through it to the celebration waiting inside. You have heard the what, but now you must experience the welcome. Do not walk away from the threshold. Let me show you what my embrace feels like. Today, the party is about to begin in your honor. For so long, you have imagined that the path back to me is a difficult, overgrown, and treacherous one. You believed it was blocked by your failures, but that is not the truth. I have never, not for one moment, blocked the road back to me. It was your own shame and your own guilt that acted like a thick fog, obscuring the path that has always been right in front of you. The way home has always been open. The undimmed, unwavering light of my love has been a constant beacon, continually illuminating your way back. Like a lighthouse on a stormy coast, it has never gone out. It has cut through the darkest nights of your soul, calling you, guiding you, showing you that a safe harbor is near. The path was never hidden from you. You had simply closed your eyes. I want to redefine repentance for you. You have thought of it as a painful, shameful groveling, a process of beating yourself up for your failures. That is not my definition. True repentance is a joyful, decisive turning toward my waiting embrace. It is the moment a lost child finally turns and sees the face of his loving father searching for him. It is not about focusing on the darkness you are leaving behind. It is about focusing on the glorious light you are turning towards. The way back to me is not through a confusing maze of religious rules, regulations, and rituals. You do not have to navigate a complex system to find me. The way is not a map. The way is a person. My son Jesus said, "I am the way, the truth, and the life. And no one comes to the Father except through me." The path home is simple. It is coming to Him. And I did not move the goalposts of my acceptance. My arms have remained in the exact same place, open ever wide, since the moment you first wandered. My conditions for your return have never changed. At any given moment of your life, no matter how far you thought you were only one decision, one simple turn of your heart, away from being home. My child, you have been bracing yourself for my judgment. Part of you still expects a stern lecture, a list of your failures, a recounting of all the ways you have disappointed me. I want you to banish that thought from your mind forever. The courts of heaven do not scowl at your humble return. They erupt in thunderous, joyous celebration. Can you hear it? The sound you perceive as distant thunder is the sound of angels rejoicing, of saints cheering, of my own heart singing over you. Your homecoming is the greatest news this universe can receive. You have heard the parable of the lost sheep. You are that one sheep. And while the 99 were safe, all of my focus, all of heaven's attention, was on you. The moment you turned back, the moment your heart whispered, "I want to go home," a wave of joy that you cannot possibly comprehend washed over my entire kingdom. There is more rejoicing over your return than over all those who never felt the pain of being lost. Your return is not a footnote in the history of heaven. It is a headline event. I am not waiting for you at the door with a detailed list of your failures. I have thrown that list into the sea of my forgetfulness. Instead, I am waiting for you with a fatted calf prepared for a great feast. The table is set. The finest robe is ready. The ring of honor is waiting for your finger. Your return does not serve to remind me of your rebellion. It serves as the perfect occasion to magnify the extravagant, incomprehensible power of my redemption. Your story does not bring me shame. It brings me glory, because it showcases the greatness of my love. So, I command you now, prepare yourself not for a stern lecture on your wrongdoing, but for a lavish party thrown in your honor. Let go of the carefully rehearsed speeches of apology you have been practicing in your head. There is no need for them here. All I want is you. And you must understand this critical truth. My house, my family, is not complete without you. Your empty seat at my table has been a source of sorrow for me. Your return brings a new fullness to my own divine joy. Your homecoming is not just for you. It is for me, too. Whip of home. Like the father in the story you know so well, I have been constantly watching the distant horizon of your life, longing to see your returning silhouette. My eyes have been on the road. I have not been passively waiting, tapping my fingers. I have been eagerly, actively anticipating this very moment. There has never been a second when my heart has not yearned for your return, when my hope for you has not been burning brightly. And see what I do now. I do not wait for you to make the long, shameful walk all the way back to the house. I do not wait for you to arrive, hesitant and ashamed, at my doorstep. I see you, while you are still a long way off, and I run to you. Picture this: the God of the universe, casting aside all dignity, hiking up his robes and running, sprinting, to meet you. My eagerness to have you back is infinitely greater than your fear and hesitation. I will close the distance myself. You do not have to earn your way back. You only have to let yourself be found. And then, you embrace. This is not a formal handshake or a polite hug. This is the embrace of full acceptance, of unconditional love, of complete restoration, and of total forgiveness. Feel my arms wrap around you. In this embrace, there is no condemnation. There is no "I told you so." There is only the overwhelming feeling of safety, of warmth, of finally belonging. Within my arms, your sordid, painful past is finally and forever forgotten, and your glorious, secure future is eternally sealed. This welcoming embrace is my final word. It silences all the accusations of the enemy. It quiets the condemning voices in your own head. It confirms your irrevocable sonship, your permanent place in my family. So I say to you again, let go of your carefully prepared speeches of apology. They are unnecessary. All I truly desire is to hold you once again, to feel your heart beating with mine, to whisper in your ear, "You are home. You are safe. You are mine." Stop striving. Stop explaining. Stop fearing. Just fall into my arms. This is where you have always belonged. Now that you are home, it is time to learn to listen again. For too long, you have been guided by the confusing cacophony of the world. I am asking you now, intentionally, to tune it out. Turn down the volume on the world's anxieties, its demands, its empty promises, and its accusations. And in the quiet you create, listen again for the clear, gentle, and unmistakable call of your good shepherd. I know your name, and you, deep in your spirit, still know my voice. My holy word is the primary way I speak. It is a lamp to your feet and a brilliant light to your path. Allow it to guide your every step from now on. Do not treat it as a book of rules to be followed out of duty, but as a love letter to be cherished, a living conversation that I want to have with you every single day. As you read, my Spirit, who now dwells within you, will make the words come alive. You will bear witness with your spirit that you are, and always will be, my child. That feeling of peace, that click of understanding, that inner confirmation of truth, that is my Spirit speaking to you. You must diligently learn to distinguish my voice of unconditional love from the enemy's incessant voice of accusation and condemnation. The difference is simple, yet profound. My voice always leads to life, hope, peace, and freedom. The enemy's voice always leads to fear, shame, confusion, and bondage. When a thought comes to you that makes you feel worthless and condemned, you can know with absolute certainty that it is not from me. I will convict you of sin, yes, but that conviction feels like a clean, healing wound that leads to repentance and joy. Condemnation, however, feels like a festering, dirty wound that leads only to despair. Learn the difference. In the stillness of your soul and in quiet trust in me, you will clearly hear my instructions for your very next step. I will not overwhelm you with a detailed map for the rest of your life. I will simply give you enough light for the step you are on right now. Come to me each morning and say, "Father, what is our plan for today?" And then listen. In the quiet, I will guide you. My voice will always, and only, lead you toward an abundant life, an unshakable peace, and a divine purpose that will satisfy the deepest longings of your heart. For years, you have lived with the mindset of a slave, or at best, a servant. You have lived in fear of punishment. You have worked to try and earn your keep. You have felt like an outsider, hoping for scraps from the master's table. Today, that must end. You are not a slave living in fear. You are a son. You are a daughter. You are a rightful heir to all my covenant promises, a co-heir with Christ himself. This is your true identity. The ring of authority I now place on your finger is not just a piece of jewelry. It fully restores your family name and your spiritual authority. It means you have the right to act in my name, to access all the resources of heaven. It is a sign that you belong to me, and my power is at your disposal. And the new sandals I put on your feet signify that you are no longer a homeless wanderer. Slaves in my time were barefoot. Only sons and daughters wore sandals in the house. These sandals declare that you are a permanent, full-time, beloved resident of my house. You are not a guest. You are home to stay. Your core identity is not found in what you have done, good or bad. It is found entirely in what my Son has done for you. Your identity is not sinner, failure, or outcast. Your new, true, and eternal identity is forgiven, righteous, accepted, and beloved child of God. You must begin to think of yourself in this way. You must allow this truth to change the way you see yourself, the way you talk to yourself, and the way you walk in this world. Therefore, I command you, walk no longer as a spiritual pauper, begging for scraps of acceptance or approval. Walk as rightful royalty in my eternal kingdom. Lift your head high. Square your shoulders. You are the child of a king. You were created in my very image to reflect my glory in the world. It is now time for you to live fully in at breathtaking truth. Stop defining yourself by your past. Start defining yourself by the identity that I, your Father and your King, have now bestowed upon you. This is who you truly are. Yes, feel the truth of who you are, a cherished heir, a child of the King. But this is not the end of our talk. To stop here would be to accept your royal title but never fully grasp the unbreakable security and breathtaking inheritance that come with it. Do not leave me now, when we are on the very threshold of eternity. It would deeply wound my heart for you to not hear the final, most powerful promises I have for you. Let us finish this beautiful conversation. Your glorious future awaits. The moment you first believed, the very instant you turned your heart toward me, I did something eternal and irreversible. I placed my Holy Spirit within you as a divine seal, a down payment guaranteeing your full inheritance. Think of a king impressing his signet ring into hot wax on a royal decree. That seal signified ownership and authenticity. In the same way, my spirit within you is my unbreakable, sovereign seal that declares to all the universe that you belong to me, now and forever. His seal is my unbreakable promise. It was not placed there by you, it was placed there by me. Therefore, you cannot break it. It is not your strength, your goodness, or your ability to hold on that keeps you safe. Let this truth set you free. It is not the strength of your grip on me that saves you, but the infinite, unshakable strength of my eternal grip on you. Your hand may tremble, your fingers may weaken, but my hand has never, and will never, let you go. This mark of my ownership upon your soul is invisible to the world, but it is recognized by all the hosts of heaven and all the forces of hell. The enemy sees that seal upon you, and he knows that you are my property. He may attack you, but he can never, ever have you. Your salvation is not a fragile thing that you might accidentally lose or misplace. It is a finished work of grace that I, your omnipotent Father, personally preserve. Think of this divine seal as your guaranteed passport, ensuring your safe and certain passage to our eternal home. It hath been stamped, validated, and can never be revoked. You do not need to worry about whether you will make it. I have guaranteed your arrival. Your salvation is not a process you must struggle to maintain. It is a status I have bestowed and a reality I will uphold. You are sealed. You are secure. You are mine. And absolutely nothing can ever change that. Rest in this profound, unshakable, and glorious truth. You have spent enough time looking backward. Now I want you to look forward with me. My plans for you have always been for your welfare and not for evil, to give you a future brimming with hope. This is not just a comforting phrase. It is my personal, binding promise to you. Your future is not a chaotic, uncertain void. It is a landscape designed by my loving hands, and it is full of a hope that is real and tangible. I have made you another promise. I will supernaturally restore to you the years the locusts have eaten. You know what those locusts are? They are the years you feel you wasted in your wandering. They are the broken relationships, the missed opportunities, the time lost to fear and regret. From your perspective, those years are gone, devoured, turned to dust. But in my divine economy, nothing is ever truly wasted. I will take the very places of your deepest regret and cause them to produce a harvest of wisdom, compassion, and strength that you could have gained in no other way. I will redeem your lost time. Let this settle in your soul, the glory that is to be revealed in you, the joy and purpose that lie ahead, will so far outweigh and eclipse all the troubles of your past that those old sorrows will seem like a dream. The pain you feel so acutely now will one day be a distant memory, swallowed up by the overwhelming goodness I am bringing into your life. And your story, the story you once thought was defined by your shame, will become a bright beacon of hope to countless others who still feel lost. You will be able to look another suffering soul in the eyes and say with absolute authority, I know how you feel, and I know the one who can lead you home. Your greatest pain will become your most powerful ministry. So, behold, I am doing a new and marvelous thing in you, right now, in this very moment. Can you not perceive it? A seed of hope is sprouting. A new chapter is beginning. The very best parts of your eternal story with me are yet to be written. The past is not your destination. It was only the school where you learned the lessons you needed for the glorious future I have prepared. Trust me, the best is truly yet to come. I want to speak a truth over you now that is so powerful it can silence every fear in your heart. I want you to receive this not as a mere possibility, but as an eternal, unshakable fact. Are you listening? Absolutely nothing can separate you from my love. Neither death nor life can do it. The fear of your own mortality cannot separate you. The overwhelming pressures and anxieties of your daily life cannot separate you. Neither angels nor demons can do it. No power in the spiritual realm, no principality or power, no scheme of the enemy has the authority or the strength to sever the bond between us. The present cannot separate you. The failures of today, the weaknesses you are wrestling with right now, are utterly powerless against my love, and the future cannot separate you. Your worries about tomorrow, your fears of what might happen, they are all subject to the sovereign, unchanging reality of my affection for you. No trial you will ever face, no matter how painful, can separate you. No height of worldly success you might achieve can make you independent of my love, and no depth of personal failure can cause you to fall out of it. The fears that grip you in the middle of the night and all your worries about the coming days are completely and totally powerless against my sovereign hold on you. No power in hell and no scheme of man can ever succeed in plucking you from my loving hand. You must understand that my love for you is not a fickle human feeling that changes with the weather. It is an unshakable, covenantal, and eternal fact. It is more real than the ground beneath your feet and more constant than the rising of the sun. You are eternally and irrevocably bound to me by the cords of a love that will not let you go. It is a love that holds you, a love that keeps you, a love that will never, ever fail. This is the bedrock of your reality. Stand on it. Rest in it. You are secure. From your vantage point, I know your life can often look like a chaotic mess of tangled threads. You see the knots of your failures, the dark colors of your sorrows, the frayed ends of your broken dreams. But from my perspective, from the perfect vantage point of heaven, I see a stunning masterpiece taking shape. The tangled, chaotic threads of your past are being woven by my expert hands into a beautiful, intricate, and glorious design. Your life is a stunning tapestry that tells the story of my amazing grace. One day you will see it from my side, and you will be breathless with wonder. You will see how every single thread, even the ones you were most ashamed of, was absolutely necessary for the finished picture. You will see with perfect clarity that I specialize in taking what the enemy meant for evil against you and turning it for your ultimate good and for my eternal glory. The deepest scars you carry, the wounds that you have tried so hard to hide, will become shining stars in the magnificent constellation of my redemptive work. I will not just heal your wounds, I will transform them. They will become sources of light, testimonies to your resilience and to my restorative power. Your story, in the end, is not ultimately about how lost you were. It is about how great, how mighty, and how relentlessly loving a Savior I am. Therefore, your testimony does not bring shame, it brings me glory. Your entire life's journey, including every single misstep, every detour, and every valley, will ultimately serve to magnify the beauty and power of my name. You are a living, breathing work of art, a trophy of my grace. You are the evidence that no life is too broken, no past too messy, for me to redeem and make beautiful. So now, my child, do not let your heart be troubled. You have a future, and you have a home. I am right now, in this very moment, preparing a place for you, a custom-built mansion in my Father's house, designed perfectly and specifically for you. It is a real place, more real and solid than the world you now see. In that glorious home, there will be no more tears, because I will personally wipe everyone from your eyes. There will be no more sorrow, no more pain, and absolutely, eternally, no more of the agonizing feeling of being lost. All the things that have made this earthly life so difficult will be gone forever, replaced by a joy so profound you cannot yet imagine it. There you will see me face to face. The relationship we now have through faith will become one of perfect, unhindered sight. You will know fully, even as you have always been fully known by me. All your questions will be answered. All your confusion will vanish in the light of my presence. The wilderness you have journeying through will be but a distant, fading memory, and the promised land of being with me will be your eternal, blissful reality. You will be joyfully reunited with all the saints who have gone before you. It will be a perfect family reunion, with not one beloved member missing. Our family will finally be complete, together, forever. And there, in the unmediated, glorious light of my presence, you will finally and fully understand the truth that I have been speaking to your heart this entire time. It is the truth upon which all of heaven is built, the truth that has been true from the beginning and will be true for all eternity. You were never, ever, truly lost to me. You have heard my final promise. You are home, and you will never be lost again. You now rest in this eternal security, and your spirit cries out for others to know this same peace. This is your opportunity to act. Your gift is a homing beacon, a map of grace sent from my heart through your hands to another of my children who is still wondering, convinced they are an orphan. My word challenges you. Test me in this, and see if I will not open the windows of heaven and pour out a blessing you cannot contain. It would grieve me for another soul to endure one more night feeling forgotten. As you sow into this eternal harvest, I declare a blessing of home over you, peace in your family, and the tangible reality of my presence in your dwelling. Now, release heaven's resources. Click Super Thanks, join as a member, or use the PayPal link below, and partner with me in bringing my children home. My child, our time together in this quiet space is drawing to a close, but our conversation is eternal. It continues in every beat of your heart, in every whisper of my spirit. Before you step back into the rhythm of your day, I invite you to do something to anchor these truths deep within your own soul. A truth that is only heard can be forgotten, but a truth that is declared becomes a part of your own story. Speaking or writing a truth gives it a different kind of power in your life. It is a flag you plant in the soil of your heart, a firm declaration against all the old lies. It is your testimony, not just to others, but to yourself, that you have chosen to believe something new. So now I invite you to make your declaration. In the space for comments below this message, I want you to write these simple, yet profoundly true words: I am found. Let that be your personal anthem. Let it be a monument to this moment when you accepted that you were never truly lost to me. If your spirit leads you, share a glimpse of your journey. Tell it a moment you can now see my hand where you once only felt alone. Your story of being found will become a lifeline for another soul who is still feeling adrift. Let that space become a beautiful sanctuary of stories, a testament to my relentless grace. Go now and walk as one who is, and always has been, completely and perfectly found. Amen. If you believe in me, your Heavenly Father, then like this video and leave a heartfelt amen in the comments. If you want to stay closer to me, then subscribe to this channel.